In this video we will discuss about users and groups. So as a Linux system administrator or in Kali Linux or any flavor of Linux, your main responsibility is to control user and group. And we need to create user and group in Linux, not only Linux but in other system as well. And the main purpose is to organize the things, organize the permission. So that's why we need user and group. Now the user of the system in Kali Linux is either a human being or it can be account used by specific application. So it means in Linux you will find by default many system user as well. So the user can be used by a human being or it can be used by specific application. Now user within a group can have a read permission, write permission, execute permission, or any combination of read, write, execute permission for a files which is owned by the group. Now why we need a group? Maybe you have a bunch of users, they need the same file and the same permission. So rather than to assign the permission to each and every user separately, rather than put them in a group and assign the permission to that group, so all the user in that group, they can use those file and directory directly with the same permission. So it means a group is organization unit. And the main purpose of the group is to combine together the user for a common purpose. And then you can assign them a reading permission, writing permission, executing permission for a file. And then you can assign the permission to that file by that group. So all the user within that group, they can use that file and folder. Now coming to the Linux user in more detail, a user or account of a system is uniquely identified by numerical number. So in Linux, what they do, they assign a numerical number. They call them user ID or UID to every user. Now there are mainly two types of users in Linux. One is the root and super user, and second is a normal or a regular user. Super user means a root or like an administrator in Windows. So let's discuss the first one is root, administrator or super user. They can access all the file. While in opposite side, a normal user has limited access. It's up to you which permission you want to give them to a normal user. A super user, a root user, administrator can add, delete, modify any user account in the system. Now in Linux, as I say, there is user ID which is identify the user in numerical number. They call them UID, user ID. So user ID 1000 and above are used for normal user. So when you create a normal user, they will assign them 1000 ID and so on, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003 and so on. However, user ID 0 is always assigned to super user account, which is root in Linux. So user ID 0, which I will show you in the lab, keep in mind this point. So it is always assigned to a super user, administrator or root. 1000 and above are assigned to normal user. Now what about from 1 to 999? So the user ID start from 1 to 200 and from 200 to 999. These user IDs are assigned to system user. As I say, there are many system user as well. Some of them you can assign statically and some of them if they do not own files. Anyway, altogether from 1 to 999, these user ID will be assigned to system user, not normal users. Got it? And 0 will be always assigned to a root super user. So we have from 0 to 999, 0 is assigned to root, and from 1 to 999 are assigned to system user, and from 1000 and above will be assigned to normal users. Done? So user ID is clear to you. Now another important command, sorry, not command, important file is password, and second file is shadow. Very important. These two files keep all the user detail. Password, the name is password, however it stores the full account information such as the username, user login name, encrypted password, user ID, group ID, other information, home directory, shell information. All those are stored in password file. So don't confuse with the password file. The name is password, but it stores the detail of the account, the user account, all the information which we will see a bit later. Second file which store a hash password and account expiration detail. Shadow. Let's discuss one by one, then I will show you in the lab. The first one is password. This password is, which I told you, is keep all the information of the username. So in this case I get example of the root user. So the first is, it will be stored like this. I will show you in the lab. So root means user or login name. X means, and it will be separated by this colon, okay? So X means encrypted password. 0 means user ID. I told you the 0 is assigned to super user. Another 0 means this is the group ID. Root means user information like phone number, email, etc. Then root means the home directory. It will create a folder for this one. And finally we have a login shell. It will assign to this user. This was a shadow file. It will be password file, which keep all the information of the user. Second is shadow. Shadow has more detail. The first one is user login name again. Then $1 means it is algorithm used by this one. Even though this is separated by colon, all this together is encrypted password. However, this encrypted password is again divided in 3 categories. $1 or $Y something, it will be many things. So it is used which algorithm it used to encrypt the password. It will show here. Then the second part is the salt. And then after that we have a hash of the user password. And all together we call them encrypted password, all these three. Then after the colon we have 18556. It means days since the last password change. It will show you in epoch format. Basically it's a date format. You can convert them. I show an example. I will show you. So 1855 can be converted to our recent date and time. Then after that 0 means minimum days until the password change allowed. And then 999, this means maximum days the password is valid. So for that much days the password is valid, and you can change the password anytime because it's 0. And then after that we have a 7. It means number of days before warning for expiration of your user account and password. So 7 days before it will tell you. And then we have colon means more information is also there. So we have number of days without login after expiration before account is locked out. So in this case we haven't set the lockout. And then number of days since account was locked. So the account is not locked. So it will show you here as well. And if you want to change 18556, so this is the way in your CLI you can convert them, because this epoch, it basically a format of the date. It start from 1st of January 1970, and you can put this after that 18556. So it will show you the recent date and time, okay, which is always from 1 January 1970 to current date. So you can use this command to find out what is the exact date, which I will show you in the lab. So let's go to a lab to see these two files, which is very important, password and shadow. So let me go to Kali Linux. Let me clear the screen, and the first thing which I want to see them is password. Okay, you can type tel and you can type less to see all the details. So I can type less command and hit enter. It will ask the password is Kali and hit enter. Now all these detail. Okay, so I start from 0. Okay, let's discuss the first one as I give an example. So root means the username or login name. Then after colon another part, X means the password is encrypted. 0 means I told you that the 0 will be assigned to the super user. 0 means user ID, and this 0 means a group ID. Then this is the other information such as user information, phone number, etc. In this case only root. And then we have the home directory. So they will create a home directory for this user under here. Okay. And then this shell will be provided, login shell. So Z shell, which we discussed, so Z shell will be provided to this user. And if you go to the directories, so where they will create a directory under the root. Okay, so if I go to the home directory, okay, and here, so there will be root directory directly. Okay, it should be, yeah, it's here. So the root directory is created. For other user, it will create directory here like Ahmad and Kali. So that's why this mentioned here that the user directory will be created here and this shell will be provided. Now daemon, ben, sys, these are system user which I told you, and it always start from 1 to 999. So you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, because these are all system user, and you can go more and you will see more. Okay, let's go to the end one. It's better to queue to quit, and rather than less we can use a tail command to see the last one. Either we can type n and say that just show me the last one, which is Ahmad. So the username is Ahmad, which is a normal user. X means the encrypted password, and as I say, it will start from the 1000 normal user. So 1000 already there is a Kali Linux. So let's see, maybe that one there is a Kali user as well. Yeah, it's not showing. There is a Kali, that's why 1000 is assigned to that Kali users. Okay, and then 100 is the group. Ahmad, these are the much more information like user information, and then it will create a directory under home Ahmad, which I just show you, and then this shell will be provided to Ahmad. So this was all about the password. So we discuss about the password. It keep the information of the user. The name is password, but it keep the information of the user. Second important file is let's see, not a password. This time we will go to shadow. Okay, so let's go to shadow and hit enter. So here is all the information. The first thing is, as I say, this is user login detail, username, then colon, then $y$, it means the ID of the algorithm use. Okay, you need to check on the internet is which type of algorithm it will use to encrypt the password. Then we have the salt value. Okay, and then after this, up to this point, up to, sorry, not this point, up to this point, because the colon will separate them. This is the encrypted password, hash of the user password. All together we call them encrypted password. But this encrypted password is still divided in 3 different ways, which I show you theoretically. Then coming to this one, 19870. It means days since the last password change. How we know what is this 19870? So let me quit this one, and rather than let's use tail command. Okay, tail -n1, so I can see the last one. Okay, so it means Ahmad is the user, y $y$, it means the algorithm use, then the salt, and then the hash. Okay, and all together the encrypted password. After that, which we are interested in, this one, it means 19874. Okay, this one, it means the day's last password change. Okay, this is the date when you change the password for this user. We can easily find out that by this command which I mentioned there as well. This is sudo date, and is always start from 1st of January, and here you can type the days which mentioned here. In my case 19874, and I say tell me in days and the recent one. So it say the last date when the password change for this user is today, because I changed the password today for this user. So that's why is mentioned like here. Okay, even if you take any other user and put this in here, it will tell you the exact date and time in the format which we understand as a human. This is a different format. Okay, after that, this 0 means a minimum days until the password change allowed. So it's 0. You can change the password anytime. I can just change now as well. And then a 9999 means maximum days that the password is valid. Again, you can convert this one. So these are the days the password can be valid. And then after the colon, we have a 7, number of days before warning for the expiration. So 7 days before it will start the warning for this user. And then there are other 3 colon for different purpose, which is not set for this user. And it can be, okay, it can be number of days without login after expiration before account is locked out, and then since the account was locked out. However, we never set those 2 value for this user. So that's why it's mentioned just colon. These value are not set as empty. And this is the way to change them if you are confused in this one. So these 2 were the important things. Okay, and let's go back. Finally, we need to discuss. So we discussed this one. Okay, as Linux group. So Linux group is a mechanism to organize collection of user, which we discussed. And like a user ID, each group is also a unique ID. I just show you as well. There is a user ID and there is a group ID as well. There are 2 type of group, primary group and supplementary group. Primary group are created by default. So whenever you create a user, a new group with the same user account will be created. That one is called primary group. And you will find those under the ATC password, which I just show you. So suppose if I go here and create a user, okay, sudo and user add, okay, and I say suppose Ali, okay, and let me create this user, and let me go to shadow again, password, sorry, let's go to password. So you will see Ali is created. So the user ID and group ID is the same. So whenever you create a user, so it will create, this is the user ID and the group ID will be the same. This is primary group. That's why I said the group is called primary group of the user, the same username. Second is supplementary group or secondary group. Maybe you create a group, which we will do in the lab, and you want to assign this Ali to that group. And you can assign this Ali to different group as well, not more than one. So in that case, those group which is not at the same ID are called a supplementary group. And you can find those under here. G shadow means group shadow. So normal user you can find here. So if I go to Kali Linux again, okay, and let's go to here, and let me clear the screen, and if I type here group and hit enter, so we have only 2 group, Ahmad and Ali, because when you create a user, so it will create the group on the same number. Okay, And if you want the other group which we don't have yet, okay, and let me delete this one, is G shadow if we have. Okay, so it's here. So you can put Ali and Ahmad, so it will be a supplementary group, and you can put Ahmad and Ali, so they have their own primary group, and you can put them in a supplementary group, which we will do in the lab. This is just we want to discuss them. And we can find, I just show you by tail, because the last one you found out, so you can use tail etc, and you will find the group. Okay, so the first thing is the group name, then the group password, then group ID, and group member. Okay, so it will be like this. So if you go to here, okay, and let me clear the screen, and let's go to the group one. So the first thing is this one is the group name. Okay, it's not user. And then this one is the group password, x1. Then 1001 is the group ID. And then there is no user in this group. It will show you here. Similarly, another group we have Ali. This is the password of the group. Then this the ID of the group, and which user add to this group. So there is no. Okay, by default the primary one is already there, but if you add more user, it will show them here. Okay, so I hope so you understand what is a user and what is group, and two important file is these two one. So if you understand this one, in the next video I will show you how we can create, how can we delete, how can we remove, and how we can add a user and group. Okay.